Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, the Big Three. Between them, they owned the 2010s, no debate. But while they were busy competing with each other, feuding, retiring, and beefing for a decade, nobody passed the torch. And now, the genre that has led US music consumption for years, 26.8% of all recorded music streams according to Luminate, is sitting here without a clear next leader. So let's talk about it. This isn't unprecedented. Every dominant era in hip-hop was followed by its stars actively manufacturing the next one. Jay-Z built Rockefeller Records. That label didn't just house Jay, it gave you Kanye West, Beanie Sigel, Freeway, and Memphis Bleek. Jay then became president of Def Jam, where he signed Rihanna and Ne-Yo. He didn't just chase his own chart position, he built infrastructure around himself so that when he stepped back, the machine kept running. Lil Wayne did it even more directly. He started Young Money Entertainment in 2005 and used it to introduce two of the most commercially dominant artists of the last 15 years. Drake and Nicki Minaj didn't stumble into the spotlight, Wayne put them there. He poured his cosign, his tours, his features, and his name into making sure they landed. That's intentional dynasty building. These weren't just vanity imprints. They were structured, committed investments in building the next wave. The Big Three watched all of that and then did almost none of it. Let's start with Drake, because OVO Sound is the loudest example. He launched OVO Sound in 2012. Over a decade later, the only globally recognizable name to come out of that label is Party Next Door. And even he's more of a songwriter's songwriter than a superstar in his own right. As one industry analysis put it, OVO Sound is excellent at the business of making Drake albums, but not yet the no-brainer star-making force it could be. And here's the thing, Drake had every resource available to him. The biggest platform in rap, a production team in 40 that defined a sound, label distribution through Warner Bros. He touched Summer Walker, Lil Baby, Gunna, BlocBoy JB, helped all of them gain visibility. But touching an artist and actually committing to building them are two completely different things. Wayne built Drake. Drake did not build anyone at that same level. That's the gap. J. Cole is the most interesting case because he genuinely tried. Dreamville Records has real talent. JID is one of the most technically gifted rappers alive. EarthGang is creative and boundary pushing. Ari Lennox is a legitimate R&B force. On paper, it looks like a roster. But here's the honest assessment. Nobody on Dreamville has cracked mainstream superstardom. JID's highest charting album, DiCaprio 2, peaked at number 41. Ari Lennox, who is genuinely incredible, has Grammy nominations but no mainstream hits in the traditional sense. The Dreamville compilations were critically celebrated. They were not commercially dominant. And J. Cole has to take some of that on. The label signed artists with immense talent, but the machine behind them, the promotional intensity, the radio push, the crossover feature strategy, never matched what Wayne deployed for Drake and Nicki. Cole protected the artistry, which is admirable, but superstardom requires more than artistry. It requires someone at the top actively forcing the world's attention onto you. Cole never quite did that. Kendrick is the trickiest to critique because his solo career is genuinely one for the books. To Pimp a Butterfly, damn. A Pulitzer Prize, the Drake beef, the Super Bowl. He ran hip-hop's cultural conversation for a full decade. But ask yourself, who did Kendrick build? PG Lang, his creative company launched in 2020 with Dave Free, was meant to be a new kind of artist development platform. Baby Keem, his cousin, was the biggest name to come out of it. Baby Keem is talented. He had a Grammy nomination for Best Melodic Rap Performance. He has not become a superstar. Tana Leone is signed there too. The platform is more of an art project than a hit-making machine. Kendrick spent his peak cultural years, the years when his cosign could have made careers, almost entirely focused on his own artistic statement. That was his right, but the genre paid the price for it. A Tufts University analysis of the problem put it plainly. The genre is in an awkward place where a new class of superstars has yet to supplant the Drake, J. Cole, Nicki Minaj, Kendrick Lamar Mount Rushmore of the 2010s. And more telling, all four of those artists were still outperforming the genre's younger acts. Hip-hop's market share in US streaming hit a peak of 28.2% in 2020. By 2023, it had slid to 26.8%. While growing genres like country and CCM surged, the streaming era opened the door for new artists to rise without gatekeepers. And yet, no one rose. Because rising alone is different from being elevated. The difference between Nicki Minaj at 25 and an equally talented rapper today is that Nicki had someone at the very top of the game actively telling the world she was special. Nobody is doing that right now. Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, T.I., Rick Ross, all of them understood something that the big three either didn't or didn't prioritize. Your legacy isn't just your catalog, it's who you leave behind. The greatest rappers didn't just make great music, they made great industries. They turned their platforms into launch pads and used their peak years, the years when a feature from them could change a career overnight, to point the world at the next generation. Drake competed for a decade when he could have been crowning. Cole preached about the culture while the culture waited for new kings. Kendrick was so committed to his own artistic truth that he never stopped long enough to build someone else's. And now, hip-hop is doing something it hasn't had to do in a long time, looking for a leader without a clear answer. The torch didn't get passed. It just burned out while everybody was watching the fight.